There are lots of misconceptions out there with regards to safety and car crash. So, in this video, let's talk about that and we will bust some of the common myths. So, we'll begin with what happens during a car crash and what makes it lethal. Okay, let me give an example. Imagine an elevator or a lift. It is filled with people. It weighs over a ton. It is at the top of a building. Something went wrong and it fell down. It hit the ground at 60 kilometers per hour. So imagine the force that people inside that elevator will experience during the time of crash. There is nothing humanly we can do to withstand that force, and literally they will be crushed inside. I mean the people. So, and this is something similar of what happens during a car crash. So, what makes it lethal? The answer is simple. It's the force we experience during the period of crash that makes it lethal. Again, let me give you another example and imagine two cases. Again, both these cases, you are driving the same car, it has the same weight, you are driving at the same speed, same place again, and only the weather is different. Okay, so in the first case, you are driving the car and the weather, it was foggy weather, so visibility wasn't that great. So suddenly you spotted an obstacle in front of you. See, since the weather wasn't that great, you weren't able to spot that object earlier. So suddenly it appeared in front of you and you applied panic braking. But on the second case, everything is same, but the weather was nice. So you were able to spot that object very early. So you have good amount of time to stop your car. So you applied the brake gradually. So in both these cases, you are driving the same car at same speed. So you applied the same force to stop that car, stop both the cars. But how you applied the force is different. Because in the first case, suddenly something appeared in front of you. You applied that force because you need to stop your car really fast. So you applied that force over a very short period of time, and the experience was pretty harsh. For the second case, you applied the same force, but you applied it over a rather longer period of time. So the experience was pretty pleasant. So the fact is that when force is applied by force I mean high amount of force, when it is applied over a very short period of time, it makes the entire experience lethal, or that makes it dangerous. Or scientifically speaking, high rate of deceleration over a very short period of time, that is dangerous. The body structure of the car is supposed to be very rigid. By that I mean the area surrounding the passenger cabin, it is made out of rigid material, or the safety cage, it's made out of rigid materials. So at the event of an accident, it shouldn't be the first thing that comes into contact with a foreign object. If it does, then the condition of the people inside the car will be similar to that of the falling elevator. So, we need to apply a certain force to stop the car. So, at the event of an accident, when you hit an obstacle, let the obstacle be a tree or a rock or anything, it applies that equal amount of force back at you in a matter of microseconds. So, the thing is, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So, something must be there to reduce that force. And that is why crumble zones are designed. So as the name suggests, the crumble zones are designed to crumble upon impact, and by crumbling, they absorbs the force, deviates that force away from the passenger cabin, and by doing that, instead of just stopping the car in one go, it delays the rate at which deceleration happens and elongates the time period at which the force acts on you, thereby reducing the entire impact. Okay, that's why crumble zones are designed. And it is not very easy as it may seem, because just to crumble upon impact, there's much more than that. It is a very rigorous and complex procedure. So while designing the car, engineers have to consider a lot of factors like the shape, the size, the design of the car, and also the way one car crumbles may not be the way another car crumbles. So now that we have a rigid body structure, crumble zones at front and back, but still car is a moving object, and you are moving along with that object. But inside the car, you may appear stationary, but in reality, we are on Earth, right? So you are moving along with that car. So your body will continue to do what it's doing unless acted upon by an external force. Inertia. Every object will continue to do what it's doing unless acted upon by an external force. In this case, crash. So what happens is that during the car crash, your body can come into contact with dashboard materials like steering and other hard plastics, and it can lead to serious injuries like internal bleedings, fracture, etc. That's why it is important to keep you attached to the car during the period of an accident. And that's why restraint systems like seat belts and airbags are used. If you do not wear seat belts, no matter how safe your car is, no matter how many number of airbags your car has, nothing is going to save you. We want our cars to be safer, and we are very reluctant to wear seat belts, especially the ones sitting at the rear. Very rarely I have seen people in the back seat wearing seat belts. So please wear seat belts. Please don't mess up with physics. So when it comes to crash tests, they consider the crash worthiness of the car, which means how well the car is able to offer you protection, pedestrian safety, and other crash prevention systems like lane change assist, autonomous braking, etc. So the final result or the final ratings of the crash test depends on how well the car fared in each category. So more stars or more rating definitely means your car is safer. But again, if your car have better safety rating, that doesn't mean that it's a license for you to just do what you want with your car, drive unsafe, drive at high speeds, thinking that you will be safe no matter what. No, there is a limit for everything. Okay, and the next thing is about airbags. See, there's always a misconception that more the number of airbags means better safe you are. Okay? Keeping that, leaving that the car has better structure, the car has good crumble zones, and still the more number of airbags is better. Yes, more number of airbags is better, but it all depends on how well the airbags are designed. One example is, I think you all have heard about IIHS, Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. Like NCAP, it's also an organization which conducts crash tests for cars that are sold in Canada and USA. And they have one of the most rigorous tests, especially the 25% or small frontal overlap test. In that test, the 25% of the car's front is crashed against a rigid barrier, whereas in NCAP test, the 40%, it's moderate overlap test. On the 40% of the car, it is crashed against against a deformable barrier. So in case of IIHS, when they introduced this, a test, most of our favorite muscle cars, most of our pickup trucks, and many other passenger cars simply failed that test. The reason was the rigidity of the structure wasn't able to withstand this test. On the other hand, some cars really fared well. They had good structure, but the airbags doesn't offer them good protection. Therefore, their rating went down to marginal or acceptable. So recently, IIHS conducted crash tests for mid-size SUVs in the US, and again, safety ratings of many cars went down because of poor airbag performance. Like some cars like Jeep Grand Cherokee and Ford Explorer in poor rating because their structure didn't withstand that crash test. On the other hand, cars like Volkswagen Atlas and Honda Pilot, which really had good structures, great working crumble zones, but their airbags doesn't offer good protection to the head. Therefore, their rating went down to 0. I think the only car that's on top safety pick plus rating is Kia Sorento. Not only it had great body structure, crumble zones, but also the airbags offer great cushioning to the head. The problem with other cars was that even though the airbags deployed, the head of the crash test dummy was able to hit the dashboard components, which in reality means, a crash like that will lead to injuries. So their rating went down. So it's all about how airbags are designed and how well the airbags offer cushioning to you. So keep in mind that more number of airbags doesn't always mean it's more safer. It totally depends on how well the airbags are designed. So now it's time to bust some myths. Okay, first of all, flexing of sheet metal, bonnet and the front and rear bumper is a build quality issue. I've seen many videos in which people just keep on flexing this components with their bare hands and saying this car has worse build quality. In reality, this is not a build quality issue, nor it has anything to do with safety. See, if you press these components with your bare hands and apply some force, it will flex. A minor flex is always normal. And again, okay, the front side and the bumpers, these are crumble zones. So if you apply pressure, they will bend. And more than that, I mentioned something called pedestrian safety, right? So even if your car hits a pedestrian or a cyclist by mistake, your front of the car, okay, or the back, is designed to protect that pedestrian. Importance is given to human life. So if your car has some damage after such an incident, let's say, don't think that it's a lack of build quality, your car ended up having more damage. See, the thing is very simple. If I'm crossing a road and some car, which is well-designed car, it hit me, maybe that car will sustain more damage and I will be safe. Thing is simple. See, if something happens to my leg or my hand or my head, it can't be replaced. But if it is car, it can be replaced. It's a matter of money. So please don't say that flexing of these components is related to build quality, and again, it has nothing to do with safety. Please understand that. And another myth which I came across very recently: auto rickshaw has better build quality than most of the cars here. See, I came across some other videos where it was a crash between auto rickshaw and cars. One video it was between a Desire and an auto rickshaw, and next car it was a Hyundai Creta. And when it's a fact that the car sustained more damage in both the cases, while the auto rickshaw had a minor bend or minor scratch. So yeah, damage is still more to the car. And when I looked at the comment section, I saw a lot of comments criticizing the car manufacturers, saying that these cars have no build quality when compared to auto rickshaw. Auto rickshaw, the Piaggio 8, that has much better build quality than these cars. See, I talked about crumble zones, I talked about pedestrian safety. So upon impact, see, when they hit upon impact, unfortunately in those accidents, nothing happened to the people. People were safe. It's only because of the fact that the cars crumble zone did their job. They crumbled and they absorbed the impact. Therefore, all the parties, all the people involved in the accident were safe. In the absence of that, the accident could have been more disastrous. And again, I know that many people see, in case of a car crumbles, they will again criticize that it is a build quality issue, or by crumbling, they say that the car is not at all safe. And I will show you a video, and this video is related to that. Okay, so this video is between a crash between an S-Class and a smart car. So this video is especially for those who still believe that crumbling of the car is related to build quality issue and safety. Please watch this video. So what did we just show? The crash between S-Class and a smart car. Smart car, what does that mean? Does that mean that the build quality of S-Class is so pathetic that it can't even withstand a car which is 1/4 the size and weight of it? See, that's the way these cars are designed. That are designed to crumble upon impact. So please don't say that crumbling is related to build quality or safety issue. Your cars are designed to be safer, so it will crumble upon impact. So if you find this video helpful, please like, share and subscribe.